Would you like your kid to ask permission and personal questions to their friends instead of getting truthful information? Before I came to BYU Idaho, I was majoring in health education, and the studies and statistics that we were able to research on these facts were outstanding. In this speech, I will let you know of the benefits and the negatives of why sexual education is beneficial to be taught to teens in school. I will also give you solutions for what you can do at home to help your kids feel like they can talk to you without getting embarrassed. By being educated on the matter and with the tips I give you, your children will feel comfortable and allow them to be informed and educated on the matter. First, let's talk about some of the risks that your children will face if they are not educated on the matter. So let's look at the statistics. Teens who receive a comprehensive education about sex are 50% less likely to have an unintended pregnancy than those who receive sex education that are abstinence-only or contraception-only programs. Virginity pledges and promises to abstain from sexual intercourse until marriage have become popular courses of action for sex education programs across America. Unfortunately, studies show that pledgers are just as likely as non-pledgers to have STDs and less likely to use contraceptives if they do become sexually active. Emergency contraceptive prevented 51,000 abortions in the year 2000. Why is sexual education taught in schools? A 2011 Centers for Disease Control and Prevention survey indicated that more than 47% of all high school students say they have had sex, and 15% of high school students have had sex with 4 or more partners during their lifetime. Among students who had sex in 3 months prior to the survey, 60% reported condom use and 23% reported birth control pill use during their last sexual encounter. Sexual activity has consequences. Though the teen birth rate has been declined to its lowest level since data collection began, the United States still has the highest teen birth rate in the industrialized world. 3 in 10 girls will be pregnant at least once before their 20th birthday. Teenage mothers are less likely to finish high school and are more likely than their peers to live in poverty, depend on public assistance, and be poor in health. Their children are more than likely to suffer health and cognitive disadvantages, come in contact with child welfare and correctional systems, live in poverty, drop out of high school, and become teen parents themselves. These costs add up, according to the National Campaign to Prevent Teen and Unplanned Pregnancy, which estimates that teen childbearing costs taxpayers at least $10.9 billion annually, every year. As adolescents, we are disproportionately affected by sexually transmitted infections. Young people ages 15 to 24 represents 25% of sexually active population, but acquire half of all the new STIs, which amounts to 9.8 million new cases a year, and about 3.2 million adolescent females are infected with at least one of the most common STIs. Human papillomavirus is the most common STI among teens. Some estimates find that up to 35% of teens ages 14 to 19 have HPV. Girls ages 15 to 19 have the highest rates of gonorrhea and the second highest rates of chlamydia of any age group. Young males get STIs, but their infections often are undiagnosed or unreported because they are less likely to have symptoms and seek medical care for those. So a lot of kids are very uncomfortable with talking to their parents about it, and they don't really want to ask their parents or family members, so they'll turn to their friends. And the statistics that show the actual knowledge of teens that ask friends, they have gotten wrong answers or they are misinformed. And so the best way is to talk to your kids about it. You just have to sit down, and it can be really embarrassing sometimes, but it's better for them to hear it from you and for you to give them the right information than to be misinformed and to have to deal with this later on in their life. If you talk to them from about a young age and throughout their life, they'll feel more comfortable in talking to you and bringing up to you. Usually kids are scared to tell their parents things, but if you allow them to talk to you and create a good relationship, it's shown that most teens will turn to their parents and their family to talk instead of their friends. The facts on Americans' teen sources of information about sex. everything that they should cover in school that I believe is sex, pregnancy, and abortion. I don't think a lot of kids know about it. They kind of know what happens, that you can get pregnant. A lot of them end up in that situation and they don't know what to do, and then they end up having abortions because they don't want to do that, and they don't have a dad. And without a dad, that leaves millions of kids without good lives. As it said before, they usually end up dropping out of high school and are teen mothers themselves and live in poverty. So I believe that by implementing these programs in schools, they'll not only be more aware, but they'll be more informed on the fact, and they'll know what to do if they are in fact choosing to have sex before they are old enough that their parents say, or before it'll actually help them get the contraceptives that they need, such as condoms and birth control. To wrap things up here, remember that you want your children to be well informed on the matter so they can prevent early pregnancy and other diseases. These are rising statistics of AIDS, HIV, and other sexual diseases in our growing generation. Many teens are turning to their friends to get the information, and it is false. By having an open classroom where it is taught and openly discussed, they will have the right of information. They will open the children up to open any questions that might be on their mind, and the right to know and to be knowledgeable so that they can be well informed as they grow. Now tell me that after hearing these facts that you would not like your children's schools to inform them on the right and wrong things and to formally address them on these matters, because that would be great. So remember, you want your schools to include these. It will help your children and hopefully save you heartache.